Good morning, everybody. Hope y'all are having a good start to your Friday. Oh man, there's a banjo emoji? I don't know about that one. Letting some people flow in here, and boy, we're gonna get started. Morning. Kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. Please feel free to pause the stream, read through this, that way you know I'm not a financial advisor. This is all for education purposes only, and you can also find this information in every description of every video on my channel. All right, got the that stuff out of the way. Morning. Crackles on the mic. All right. And plug it back in before the stream started, but you know what? It's okay. All right, we're going to start off with the NASDAQ as always. Still no sound? Better? Everyone throw up a Y if the audio is better. Better. It's good. Awesome. Appreciate it. Why? All right. Starting off on the NASDAQ, we're going to scroll out, take a look. Big picture. 2 weeks of breakouts down. Same as yesterday. Day one of breakouts was on Wednesday. Now we had a failed breakout at the high of the week. Day one, 3-day cycle. And also a first red day in a down moving market. Okay, now this is a very large decline day, putting us right back at the low of the week. And we're starting to get a little bit of back and forth on the day itself. The news is going to tell us a lot of information. All right. Notice how they've kind of come down here and started doing one of these. So we're going to see how this day plays out. With the, first red day, I was looking for a large pump up. Or maybe like if this day would have opened and started working up or working up into closing price or something along those lines, that would have been an ideal first red day. Where this is already broken down and is continuing to go lower. We're broken out of the previous day's low. And I'm also going to put up, oh, I don't have it there. Hold on. If I can get my sessions up there so I can see. There we go. So we've got one session outside of the breakout. The second session outside of the breakout. And the gap time has been inside of the previous session high and low. Like I said, the news looking for that sell high opportunity. But as always, just because yesterday was a first red day does not mean that, hey, today's going to go down. Doesn't mean for sure 100% that today will be a down close day. Looking for the sell high opportunity. If that were to present, great. If not, okay. Let's go to US 30. It's going to be pretty much the same thing as far as what I am looking for, but slightly different template where last week on the NASDAQ was week 2 breakouts down. But with the US 30, we've kind of had this failed breakout down low, and then now we're gone back to the high. So we broke out, failed down here. We broke out, failed maybe up here. Yesterday was a breakout day one to the downside and also a first red day. And that leads us into today looking for a sell high opportunity. But again, market has already been dumping down. So we'll see, of course, just because it's, if it's pumping back up and then we go back into consolidation high of session for the rollover, I'd be fine with that. But I would prefer or would have preferred to see this first red day pump up first especially above closing price or something along those lines, so that I could take this trade. Again, the news, we'll see. All right, platinum. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I didn't really look at platinum too much last night or this morning. So give me a second and I will... Okay, so we got 1 day, 2 days, 3 days of breakouts. Wednesday. Yesterday was a first red day. A day that opened, attempted to trade higher, made its lows in the afternoon, made its highs in the morning, lows in the afternoon. Let's see. Direction. We had 1 week down, 2 weeks down, and a large pump up back up to the high of the week. Or up to the high of the week, I should say. Okay. So this would be, if I was going to watch this, this would be another one that I would be just watching for the sell high. But again, we will see. This looks like it has really no volume at all. Okay, we'll go to oil. Okay, so this was another first red day. A failed breakout at the high of the week. You kind of see the volume trapped up high. The nice rectangle up there. This broke down yesterday. And then that gave us the first red day. This is also a breakout market to the downside. Large pumping day. And now, obviously, the first red day. Landing us in this end-of-day consolidation that pumped up off the high in three peak, or off the low, excuse me, in three peaks. 1 peak, 2 peak, 3 peak. High of session, high of day. London. That was the big, good opportunity. And actually, this is a good example of, you know, if I could insert this into, this is New York session, that would be ideal. That would be perfect. Same thing with like the NASDAQ. If I could take oil and insert, you know, this is the New York session and this is how the chart looked coming into New York, that'd be great because that would give me a lot of confidence that it's going to continue in the downwards direction. Now, this market has broke out to the downside, so again, I would need a pump up of some kind to look for the rollover trade, but as of right now, this feels like it's already broken out and maybe has already done its thing. I don't know if it's going to go into consolidation or what. Scroll back. This is the lowest close of the week was right here. So maybe somewhere trying to get back down into somewhere down in here in this range. So we'll see. I think this is one that I'd probably like to keep on my list. It looks like it's trading fairly clean. And we'll see for the New York Open and the news. Natural gas. Zoom out. This is a very rectangular week. Opening range initial balance. Failed breakout high. Broke out back down to the downside now. Coiled kind of sideways. All right, so this big pump to the high of the week. This is the first red day on Wednesday. Then the first red day trade as of yesterday. Looks like a late session. Yep, 10:45 was the engulfment down. And what else does that leave us? Breakouts day 1. All right, so breakouts day 1 to the downside. Or really just a breakout day. And again, market only is going to do 3 things. Breakout trend, breakout reverse, or stay in the trading range. So if we broke out, and now we're just pulling back. I don't really have a strong conviction on this pair, but we'll see. I really don't like this pair at all because the way that it trades it just feels really clunky. All right, use CAD. Okay, Monday, Tuesday, inside day. Breakout day 1 on Wednesday. And then immediately broke right back up to the upside. So basically a first red day in an up-moving market, immediately followed by a trap back up to the upside, closing and breakout. This is going to build our rectangle. This actually looks pretty interesting. This is one of the playbook templates that I would look for. where you get in an up moving market, you get a first red day, immediately followed by a breakout day to the upside. This is one that I would be looking for long if it were to present. I don't know. It just doesn't look like it's very... I'm going to go to some others. Let's see if there's anything else that's better. Okay, the pound. A breakout day yesterday. First week of breakouts down. Unfortunately, the big trade looks like it came in London yesterday. There's another one, obviously, in the New York session to follow through. Third hour. Which I stopped watching this altogether yesterday, but that's pretty clean. 3 peaks, 1, 2, 3. I don't really feel like I have anything for today, though. Go to Euro USD. Peak low, peak high. Again, another one that moved in London the day prior. Now we're pumped back up to the high. All right. I'm just trying to get ready for the news at 8:30. Just making sure we're all set up. All right, taking a look at gold. 3 days breakouts. This is one that I'm going to have on my list. I really just put up the same ones every day, but it's nice to go through the analysis process with you all. And if you've noticed, one of those 3 that I always choose seems like, regardless of how hard I look for other setups, you know, one of those indexes, gold, oil, is always going to provide some kind of setup. So, you know, I've got my basket to see if I could find something better. But most of the time, I am just going to use indexes, gold, oil, or some kind of metal and oil. But with the gold here, we got 3 days breakouts, no lower low on the inside. Maybe higher highs and lower or higher lows. We kind of came down here. So I think this is going to be one that I'd like to watch, especially coming into New York session, see how it reacts. Silver was another one this morning that I thought I should be watching. This was an outside day and also a first red day. They've hit both sides of the range. Pumped it back up. Gone back into consolidation on the inside of London's high and low. I almost like this more than gold. Okay, we'll take a look at the Russell. Excuse me for being a little stuffy, but I think I might be catching a cold. Anyways, breakout day 1 to the downside. We've triggered previous week's low. They've actually hit both sides of the weekly range this week and broke out now to the downside. And they're pumping it back up as we speak. I think of all the indexes, this certainly might not be the worst one to be watching. It looks very similar to the others, but this one's already pumping up. All right. Going to throw up some charts. And then we're going to wait for the news. I mean, I don't really feel bad or anything, Sam. My nose is stuffy, and I'm sure it's really annoying to listen to me sniff, so I'm going to try and keep it to a minimum, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. I'm going to try to remember not to be annoying, though, because I'm sure sitting here listening to somebody sniff into the mic is like, what's this guy's problem? All right, we got gold up here on the top right. Okay, oil is one that I wanted to watch. The only reason I feel good about the NASDAQ with this consolidation is because of the news. If they start blasting through levels, that'll set me up pretty well. I'm trying to decide, do I want to watch gold or do I want to watch silver? All right, we're just going to stick with gold for now. I don't know. We'll stick with gold for now, but whenever the news comes around, I'm going to make my rounds. Okay. How y'all doing this morning? It's been a pretty good week of trading. Really enjoyed doing these streams. How's y'all's week been as far as trading goes? For those of you, some of you have been here every single day this week, and I think probably last week as well. Are these streams genuinely helping to... Do you feel like it's making you better in some type of way? Like if I were to do these streams for a few months, you would feel like you would be better for it. And if not, you know, if you've got suggestions, then let me know. Copper? Okay, good. I'll keep doing them then. I will keep doing them. Let's see. Where is copper? Do I even have copper? I can't remember. I probably should just add it permanently in here. Okay, there's my... let's see. All right. Copper. See if this one's okay. Looks all right. Copper's first red day and also day one breakouts down. We pulled back up into yesterday's range. Peak formation low, low of week, peak formation high, high of week. Are we broken out to the downside on copper? Yes. Okay. Copper reminds me a lot of silver today, except silver's even more consolidated than this. Kurt, good stuff. Appreciate you being here. Robert. Good. Steve. Stuart. It's good to feel we're not doing it alone. I like that. And I know I sit here and I run my mouth about random junk, and it's like, this has nothing to do with trading. What's this guy even talking about? But let's be fair. It's kind of hard to talk about straight trading for 2 hours when I'm actually trying to, you know, look for trades and things, and it's easy to distract myself by just making weird, you know, conversation while we wait. But as long as you all feel that they're benefiting, even though I've got distracted conversation from time to time, which a lot of times they do lead into other beneficial conversations. But all right, I like copper. That looks nice, but I think that it's going to be about the same analysis for me, whether it be gold, copper, or whatever. The metals, they all look somewhat similar. So I think, I don't need to do all that. We're going to keep, this makes it easier for the levels to work properly. We're going to use this. Sam, so here's the thing. Oh, no, Steve. I'm not even going to try and worry about that. I'm just going to continue to look at, especially the news. Like the news is going to, depending on how that first 15-minute bar closes, that first 5-minute bar closes, it's going to definitely give me more confidence in what I'm looking for. As far as half Batman goes, peak formation high, sideways consolidation, we might be breaking down. Yes, that could absolutely be. Is it the most beautiful half Batman I've ever seen? I would say no, but it's still, I would say, valid. If you want to see some like really good half Batman examples where you're just like, oh my gosh, and I've told you I am charting nerd extreme for whatever reason. Seeing nice patterns on a chart just makes me happy. That's probably why I feel like I'm supposed to do this for a living, but whatever. Let's go take a look at. So like this, that is a really good half Batman where that ear is really up there. And from zoomed out all the way right here, you can see how it's come out of the pattern 1, 2, and 3. And then notice how this candle closed up. And then this candle trapped up into the high and brought it back down. Why do you think the head is created this way? Look at how this candle formed here, which now has everyone trapped trying to take this long. And when it breaks back down and they go back into consolidation, it's hopes and dreams. People are thinking, oh, it's going to go back up. It could go back up. There's a possibility it could go back up. Please go back up. And then it starts to rip down without letting any of those people out. So that's kind of the psychology of how or why these patterns build that way. That's why the half Batman looks the way that it does. Again, kind of off topic, but that is a really clean one there, as well as I think the Euro might not have been as clean, but still pretty decent left ear. And then when you think about again, why does that pattern look the way that it does? Best fill price was like 1, 2, and then the 3 to the high, but this is the biggest candle on the chart, which means that people are going long into this area, and you can kind of see where people are caught now above that bar. Somebody bought this bar, now they're trapped in that bar, and it's not going to let them out at all. Pretty much the psychology of why that pattern works out. Vector candle, yeah. Blow off. I've heard it called like blow off candle. What's it called? Blow off candle, sure, but there's another one, another name for it that I'm failing to recall right now. Climax candle. That's what it is. Climax candle. It was going to drive me crazy for the entire stream if I couldn't remember that. That's looking good. Of course, the news could happen and destroy everything that I just said. Oil already blowing off. This move started at 7:15. That was the entry right there. But I don't know who's trading oil at 7:15 in the morning. Honestly, Kurt, that's not a bad name for it because, you know, I talk about the psychology of candles and things like that, and because I just find it extremely interesting, and having noticed certain things about not only what's being taught, but also I think that people teach certain things and they mean it in a certain way, but then people think of it as a different way. And so like strong bull closed candles, strong bear closed candles, relative to surrounding candles. A lot of times that biggest candle on the chart leading you into an extreme, it blows off and you're thinking, oh gosh, this is the strongest move ever. I'm going to get in short. Because that's just, as human beings, that's how we respond to, that kind of behavior. It's accelerating. It's blowing off. It looks like it's going to continue, so I'm going to take action at that area of the chart, which is why those patterns work. Because that's the hive mind of human beings is saying, oh, we gotta We all have to get in on these candles because that's where it looks like the move is going to continue from. No one's taking action on little in-between bars. They're taking action on the big down close bars at certain levels and things. So, anyways, you got half of oil, Paulie. You're trading oil at 7 o'clock in the morning. Good for you. Space. Morning. I'm on a 15. Let's get down to a 5. Keep looking at these consolidations. Okay, we got NASDAQ gold, Russell oil. Good. It's probably going to be a longer stream today, considering I've started at 8 o'clock in the morning, all the way up till 10:30. I might even go to 11 today. You know, it is Friday. Looking for markets that are not going to come back. And if it's pumping into a high or dumping into a low and nothing is presented by 10:30, I think I might be willing to wait until 11 today. Even yesterday when I got off, was it yesterday? I'm almost 100% certain it was yesterday. Even yesterday when I got off stream, I kept watching. I wound up trading the NASDAQ a bit more. I didn't catch this whole move, but things started ripping down. Oh, we got to skip these ads here. No. No candle commercials for you all. Sorry. Okay, 2 minutes to the news. Pretty big news event today, so should be expecting some kind of, in theory, some kind of large explosive move. Hopefully outside of a range, because it will help give the thesis, put us on the outside. Maybe look for first bounce if it presents. If it does not, well, we'll wait till 9:30, 10 o'clock. Okay, there's the news. Currently watching the NASDAQ. And Russell. Yep. Bad news. What was the news, Stuart? What has been said? Morning, Shaky. Morning. Looking for a first bounce if it presents. 7 to 15 minutes after the news. Okay, so basically more people are unemployed. What's my criteria for first bounce? It's momentum. I want to see some kind of pullback, but not one that's large enough to dictate the momentum is lost immediately. There should be no loss of momentum. It should just keep on falling. With these news events, a lot of times they'll break down or whatever, and then it just goes right back up. So we've had this large consolidation and a breakdown or breakout. If they pull back, that's fine. But if they're going to pull back for 930, that's something, that's because I just need to wait for the trade setup to show up. But if it's going to dump down like this, go back immediately into consolidation and sit there until 930, that means that there's a good chance they're going to pop back up. And I don't want to be selling right now. So 7 to 15 minutes after the news, if there's, if there's any kind of pullback that I can get into, I will. I think the Russell, there was no 3-push pullback of any kind, but that's a good momentum. They've engulfed. Then we got this bar that closed lower than the previous bar, a pen, and some follow through. Not really how I normally would enter, but this is behaving good for the momentum. That could have been an over and done with sort of trade. My thoughts on gold, it's going up. It's going up. Let's take a look at silver. Also going up. So now, and that's actually blown out of a rectangle as well. Instead of, following down, it's pumped back up, broke out of this large consolidation rectangle. Breakouts are either going to succeed or fail. So the next idea would be watch the high of the day, see if this breakout fails. But also, they just broke out of a large rectangle. So if this breakout does not fail, it's just climbing. We're just going up. Same thing here. Large rectangle. Breakout to the downside failed. Now we're broke out to the upside. Is it a low of day? No, definitely not a low of day. Okay. So now I would just be watching at the high of the day to see if this turns into a does not come back to the upside. Obviously, I don't want to be going short. I think my focus right now is currently on indexes. Still very early in the morning, but with this news event, if I can catch a first bounce for the follow through, I would be okay with that. All right. We're talking about this one right here. Levels, timings, behavior, price. Could not agree more. I don't like the first bounce as of right now. We're 8 minutes after the news. I'm gonna wait. It would have to be. I would have to get a pattern right now that I would. Let's go to the 1 minute. Yep. Remember, it's also a new month. It's also a new month, so previous trends are either going to continue or reverse. The market only does three things, and that's where the whole idea and concept of all that stuff comes from. You know, mash all that stuff together, mash those understandings together, and that will lead you to the promised land, to better understanding. $8:40, so we're 40 minutes into this hour. I want to see how, if gold turns into a dirty trick. Look at this nice, clean double top. 3 push pattern. Inside bar, engulfment. Took out the low of the inside bar. Are we going right back up? Master, it's going to be on certain types of days. When they build a box, some kind of rectangle, and the news completes the pattern and breaks out and explodes. It's actually kind of funny. It's not really funny, but I was scrolling through YouTube the other day, and S&B Capital, I think it was Lance, he showed this exact setup. I was talking about how it was one of the easier trades to take basically the first bounce. And I thought that was interesting, like, because I had originally learned this setup from Stacey, but again, there's nothing new out there. And I don't use the first bounce very often, but when I do, it usually is because it's presented in a certain way. No, I totally agree, Trade. And I actually prefer to do that, but there's sometimes when the first bounce, it looks so perfect that there's no way I can avoid it. Sometimes it's so criteria based that I there's no way that I could ignore what I'm seeing. So, but preferably I do like to wait for the open and after the open. Appreciate that, Robert. It's almost like you have to because patience is such an interesting topic in discipline itself. It's like, well, what is discipline and what is, like, how do you actually change your mindset to become more disciplined? You basically have to change who you are as a person to achieve a certain level of patience and things like that. And that all is just coming from, I think my patience mainly comes from my understanding of how the market is. The fact that just because a candle is big doesn't mean that means it's going in that direction. Just because it's doing this or that doesn't mean it's going to do this or that. It could just mean that it's a trap or whatever. And that's why I really like the setups, is because it gives you something to look for. But it doesn't mean that it's going to present. And I've been burned enough times hoping and praying that just because the signal presented that I should be entering long or short or whatever, even though the day wasn't framed correctly, and that's where that phrase or term that I use, framing the day, came from, is because it's first red day yesterday. Yeah, sure. And that's part of my playbook as well, looking for the traps and the reasoning for why to look for the traps, because it keeps me out of the nonsense of it's going up, but yesterday was first red day, so I'm going to keep shorting, hoping that it's going to go back down. And if I lack the understanding of why it's going up today, with a better understanding of the 3-day cycle and the days of breakouts, the weeks of breakouts, the weekly templates, and things like that, I'm not going to sit there and scale into a loser just because it has to go back down today. No, I mean, there's plenty of examples where it's a first red day yesterday, and then the next day goes vertical to the upside. But that's good information for the following day. Anyways. Robert, yeah, not only that, like, once you notice that, hey, today I just didn't care about anything except for my trade, and when it presented, I performed well, and I got good results because of that. And then you compare and contrast that to a day where maybe you're feeling a little jumpy, or every candle, whatever. Or maybe that day you're feeling like, well, I just want to make more money today, and so I'm going to whatever. Or maybe you're on a win streak and you feel invincible. and you have a horrible, miserable day because of those feelings and thoughts, and you compare and contrast those, and then you do that enough times, you start to realize and think to yourself, like, okay, well, when I do this, I lose money or I make less. And when I do this, I have really good days. I really want to have more good days. So what needs to be done to achieve better days? And I think that alone has made me more patient, because it's like, I don't know about y'all, but when you used to have those really bad trading days, and it wasn't just because your system failed, but because at the end of the day, you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, you did this consciously, knowing it was not correct, and you just wanted to make money, and you get that gut-wrenching feeling at the end of the day. I mean, that's the absolute worst. Taking losses, but a part of your system, you did nothing wrong, who cares? That's going to happen. But when you make conscious decisions, and you're losing because of that, that's those behaviors that is horrible. Oh, I like that. Trading is just patient people, especially because you all have heard me say that, trading's kind of cynical, and I like watching people get wrecked in the market. Not like literally, I don't physically enjoy watching people's pain, but the psychology piece of understanding where people are hopeful and fearful, and watching those people get manipulated. Like, those are the things that I'm looking for in the market to not predict, but understand what the market's goal currently is, and what the story is building, in that consolidation, what story is building in the 3-day template or whatever. Yeah, it's very true. All right, we're 48 minutes into this hour. NASDAQ lost momentum. We're pulling back, or maybe we're going back up. We'll see. Same thing with gold. Immediately went back into consolidation. Now the Russell's pulled back off the low. Okay. Let's go back to 5-minute here. No system is perfect. And this is a discretionary trading system. The levels are objective. The time of day is objective. The highs and the lows are objective. There's plenty of objective pieces within the system. But compare and contrast large range days and what those days looked like going into the session in Asia and London during the session. Like, compare and contrast what those days look like compared to a consolidated day. London or New York is just whipsaw back and forth the whole session. It's frustrating. It's a narrow range day. There's lots of days where I come in to the morning and I go to frame my day and I look at it and say, I'm just not seeing anything that looks good. There was a signal yesterday, but today doesn't look right. And then sometimes it still works out. But a lot of times it looks like it should have done something based off the close yesterday. And then you come in today and it's doing the opposite. Saying, okay, well, discretion. I'm going to look at today and say this isn't right. So if it doesn't do what needs to be done within my session, I'm just going to come back tomorrow, because there'll always be another one. Yep, Stuart. Now I'm going to say this, and I've never done this in my life, so with a grain of salt, but there's lots of data and statistics out there that you can look at that most large range days, days that are expanding ranges to one side or the other, a certain percentage of those close at their lows or close at their highs or near them. The high of the day or low of the day. let's see, what was I saying? So, there's lots of argument that can be made, and Tom Hugard makes the argument, and I know that others do as well, that when you catch the larger swing for the day, you're supposed to hold it until the close. But also, with my personality, that just doesn't work for me. I prefer to catch the fast impulse wave and just be done, instead of hoping and praying that the consolidation continues to expand later in the day and things like that. Very nice space. I took a scalp on the Russell back over here, but it's nothing to be jumping out of my chair about. It was a 50 tick scalp. Tick, not pips. Tick. Which I think it was over and done with in like 10 seconds. I did not understand. Fibro, what did you not understand? It's not easy. NASDAQ stopped just short of previous day's low. You knew it would go through. Stuart, I'm actually a little confused. Maybe it was something I said earlier that triggered you saying that, and I can't seem to recall. We got 7 minutes to the new hour. 25 pips for carry, first bouncing or JPY after 3 pushes into the low. Nice. Yeah, exactly. That's true. Because at the time, like, this looks like it's going to continue down today. It does. That's what it looks like. But how many days have you seen like this where the news does exactly this? You come back to the screen later in the day and the price is up here and you're like, what happened? So I do prefer locking in as much as I can on the first initial blow off, 50, 75, 100, whatever I can get. Sometimes 30 or 40. I accept that. 30 or 40 is good. If you can consistently make 30 or 40 pips, you're fine. As long as you're not consistently losing 30 or 40 pips at, leaps and bounds. It's true, bro. So like this, even this move right here, we could be talking about a breakdown. Maybe we're pulling back. If it stays in consolidation 930, maybe low-hanging fruit back down. Or on a lot of these news days, this could just continue to trail higher and higher and higher and be that little pitter-patter back and forth, and all of a sudden it blows off. And you're like, oh, there it goes. There was no opportunity to really enter unless you wanted to catch these little itty-bitty swings, which exposes you to, if they could put one big down close candle back down, now you're trapped, you're hooked in, you're taking 50-50 losing trades because you're trading direction. Obviously don't want to be doing that. So there's certain presentations that I'm looking for that and based off the setups as well that tend to work out a lot better. Okay, 4 minutes to the new hour. Russell's done a 1, 2, 3. would have liked to have seen an engulfment down on that fourth bar. 30 minutes to the New York Open. What you got going on up there? I almost wouldn't be surprised if the third hour trades today were the way to go. Like first hour does this, second hour does this, third hour completes the pattern, or first hour dumps us down, second hour pumps us up, third hour dumps us down, or first hour, whatever it may be. I think the Open's going to tell us a lot. So this consolidation, watch this consolidation, because a lot of times, if this is a good momentum breakout trade, they'll spike the high first, get people to start going long, then they're going to come down here and spike the low, make people believe it's going to go short. You'll see them consolidate down here at the low and engulf back up. And if this is a good momentum trade, then it will continue to expand. But we will see. Oil's at the low of the week, yeah. I don't think I fished an entire week or asked one time. If y'all could just hit the like button on the stream, I do greatly appreciate it, and it really does help the stream. I'm not talking about the little hearts either. I'm talking about the little thumbs up button. If you are enjoying these streams and things like that, really the best way of supporting them is just hitting that little thumbs up button. So thank you. And that will be the only time I fish. Appreciate you. Goodness gracious. We got another heat advisory today. Appreciate that, Jay. Hopefully you didn't break your mouse when you smashed it, though. Oh, boy. Oh, we're in a waiting game now. Built these big ranges in the first hour of the session. Back into accumulation mode. Back into consolidation. There's a Russell down there. What is the CAD doing? Huh. Where is natural gas going? I appreciate that, Ikla. That would be cool. part of me, like, of course, like, part of me wants that to happen, but the other part of me, I think, will miss the small community feel. Like, I recognize every single one of your names each day, and I like that. You know, it's like a small town feel. You know, I kind of, not that I know all of you, of course, but I'm used to communicating with all of you at least. Which is kind of cool, you know. But having thousands of people in here, I think it'd be hard for me to remember everyone. Tight-knit community. And with that many people, then you got to start dealing with spam bots and all kinds of weird internet things. And I really don't want to have to deal with any of that stuff. I just want to like talk with you all and trade and like enjoy and have fun. Gold took you out. Ooh, okay. Spike the high, spike the low. Let's see how they react. New hours open. I mean, it depends. I look at the range of the candle if there's 3 levels of rise or fall. You know, 150, 300 pips. But I use that more for entries and not necessarily exits. Or not even really entries, but, you know, thesis building, idea building. Okay, we've got 59 seconds left on this 5-minute bar. Where is gold going? Yeah, is this going to be like a breakout pullback? Let's see. Oh my gosh. Tom Hugard is stepping away from YouTube because of people. That's wild. That's a huge, huge, huge reason why. Number one, just a reminder. I'm glad that you brought this up. I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is all for education and informational purposes only. Go back to that, the disclaimer and things like that. And that's why I've had so many people tell me you should do all kinds of stuff. Signals, blah, 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 blah. Show us where you're getting in and getting out, in live time and real time. Yeah, that's great. But it only takes a few losing trades, or not even losing trades. I could have a winning trade because I've entered exactly where I meant to and wanted to, and I executed that trade exactly how I should have. And maybe it was a winner, maybe it wasn't. But if other people start following me based off my entries, and they start losing money because they're not executing the same way that I am, and then they blame me for it. I don't want that to happen. I would rather, and I've said this since the day one of my channel, I would much rather teach you all, or teach in general, how to build a thought process and viewing the market a certain way so that you all can do it on your own. You know, teach a man to fish, he'll fish for a lifetime, or eat for a lifetime. That is far more beneficial than, you know, getting you all a few good trades. Anyways. Yeah, it's sad. It's the same reason, like, people ask me, I get a lot of messages, and like on Discord and on YouTube as well. You know, what broker are you using? What broker do you suggest? I'm not suggesting anything to anybody, ever. I'm not affiliated with any broker. I'm not affiliated with anything. Stuff with FTX, these other prop firms and things like that, I refuse to suggest, or I don't even like really telling people what broker and things I use, because I don't want it to feel like a suggestion. Research, Google, figure out what works best for you. I would feel terrible if I said, hey, I'm using this broker, and then 2 weeks later it got shut down or something and people lost money because of that. I would feel horrible. Yeah, anyways. And I get emails every single week. Can you please represent our broker or crypto, whatever, or all kinds of stuff? It's like, no. I don't even reply to them. No. No, thank you. All right, 9 minutes into an hour. I'm sitting here rambling about y'all put me on a topic there. Okay, they've spiked the low of a consolidation. They've spiked the high of a consolidation. I'd be curious to see how this 15-minute bar closes. I'd really like it to close back down on the inside of previous day's range. 3 days of breakouts. New hour dump. Yeah, we're sitting on top of this previous day's high space. Are you talking about gold? Yeah. Yep. So we broke down underneath. This would be like my pin in the coil. I'm going to see if I can't maneuver this to get in right before it explodes, or if it even explodes. I'd really prefer to see them break down below previous day's high. But we are coiling sideways, so if we were to continue to break down, I would be happy to engage. I'm going to let a pattern continue to develop. Just want to find something easy, an easy 50 that's going to rip to one side or the other, or not come back at all. Okay, I'm in on gold. We'll see if that was a good decision or not. It's a new 5-minute bar. I sold this up close candle in the wick. When it was fully extended to the upside, I sold. Still trading before the New York Open. They've came back down now and hit that low. It's a pretty big wick on a 5-minute candle. Not looking too good. Looked like I took some off at the low, but I'm gonna see this 5-minute bar closes back up in this range. That's not gonna be the best. All right, I'm closing out of this. All right, so I took the entry that I told you all. This bar here. I closed some down here at the lows. And then it came back out and put me in a little bit of drawdown. I got stopped out. All right, so it's pretty small gain. Getting stopped out for the rest. Okay, still a 50 pip trade. Not an enormous amount of size on it. All right. We will refocus. Let's take a look. I was kind of trying to hold it for, the larger move. If it was... What in the world was that? If it was going to actually make its push down, I was holding out for that back down closing price, something like that, which, of course, that could still present. We're still before the open. I got 8 minutes to the open. Seven minutes. Okay, we got 5 minutes now. We're into this new 5-minute bar. All right, I think it's about that time. We got 4 minutes to the open. So I got 4 minutes to drink. And I'm well hydrated, so I'll be back probably about a minute. Okay. 2 minutes. Oh, we're gonna skip those ads. There we go. Yeah, I was just pointing at it because I'm looking at all four, but I just noticed that oil is consolidating like this in this little 5-minute bar. One minute. Not going to let the strong, fast moves dictate what I want to do, but waiting for a pattern to build based off of the setup. And based off of that setup, we're going to react. If at all possible. By we, I mean me. That was a very lackluster open. Good stuff, Space. Good stuff. Minute 32 on this candle. Broker site died? I don't know. Got 1 minute left on this 5-minute bar. Seconds left on the 5-minute bar. NASDAQ coming back with a vengeance. Going right back up. Certainly seemed like it, didn't it? Look at this. Straight down. Next bar goes, there's no wick down at all, just straight back up. Mighty interesting. Certainly seemed like a stop hunt back down into the low. 3 sessions breakout down. You just use different kinds of charts. Okay, there's a new 5-minute bar. We got 15 minutes or so to the new hour. About 2 minutes left on this 5-minute bar. I guess about 3. Very nice. I was in gold earlier, waiting for this new hour. Nice base. I took gold sell earlier, down over here in the blow off before the open. It was in the, I think in the second hour. Where'd it go? Sold this bar right here when it was fully extended to the upside. This up close bar, and it blew off. And I closed some down here at the lows, and then it came back and stopped me out for the rest. Okay, new 5-minute bar, 45 minutes into an hour. Gold still resting on top of previous day's high, making higher highs and higher lows. Last day of the week, 3 pushes outside the opening range. No solid lower low as of yet. And really no reason for me to think that it's going to follow through. If there was like a death candle or something along those lines where it, locked in all this volume that's trapped up high, that'd be great. Or if it continued to break down. Death candle is like a candle that blows through and locks in all the volume up high or down low. Let's see. 9:48. Cam, can you explain when you... So I use the highs and the lows of just structure in general. When I look at the chart and I say, hey, there's money sitting there or there, which could be a place where it reverses, or if it was likely to reverse, if they were making a run for the money and they took it and it's willing to go back to the other side of the range, where would it hit that area of the chart and have potential for a bounce or for a reversal? Because if it bounces, they could come back and stop me out at break even anyways, and I get nothing. But if I take some off at the low and I get paid and it comes back and stops me out at break even or whatever, then, who cares? But if I'm holding on and I think it's going to move a lot further, I'm still usually going to take some off at the lows or at the highs because what I think is going to happen is irrelevant. It literally has nothing. It means nothing. The chart says, hey, there's a line there, that there's money sitting there. You should take some off. So I do. And then if it follows through and continues to blow through, then yay. If I remove some, yes, I will add back in, depending on how it pulls back or how the 5-minute chart or 15 is looking. But I do that very rarely, where I'll add back in. Okay, new 5-minute bar. New hour is approaching. Patterns are evolving. Things are changing. Let's make my rounds so I don't get too narrowly focused here. See if there's anything else better. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. We've gone into Chop City with a lot of pairs. I have no idea. Trade metrics. I have no idea. You're definitely asking the wrong person. Ask Elon or one of those people. Still watching the NASDAQ. Zoom out of here. First red day yesterday. They pumped it back up. 3 peaks. 1, 2, 3. I don't like the pattern that's presented, but I really don't like the pattern that's presented. The way that it's 3 peaked. If it's just easing its way down for the capitulation, I'm probably not going to catch this. If it's just easing down so it can go vertical to the upside, then I'm definitely not going to catch this. Gold's been working people down into the low. If I sold this bar, I got put in profit and then immediately took it away. Now they're not letting me out. We going back up? No idea. Good old waiting game. I got 6 minutes in the new hour. I mean, you can see the consolidation that the whole market has built. I mean, every pair, all of them. This one, this one, this one, this one. News, box, hold. News, box, hold. News. Yeah, you get the point. They've built these ranges and they're just holding it. Oil is probably the only one that didn't. Yeah. Well, I don't know, but maybe it's going to work, in the afternoon where they've built these ranges and they start to expand into the afternoon, or maybe not, maybe it just holds this all day long and just got to deal with that. But oh, nope, 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 nope. Go back. What did I have down there before? I think it was one of these. You're telling me, Stuart. I've got a 73 F100 with a big block, 390 big block. And if I take a 30-minute trip, somewhere and back, like $15 there and back, I get smiles per gallon. Okay, 3 minutes to this new hour. Good thing you live close. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's like I very rarely leave my property, so. Oh, that's wild. Yeah, your energy cost over there, and Stuart, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not just gas, but like energy prices in general to like heat your house and things, they're all more expensive. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm a little ignorant to other countries and things, but oh boy, I do not like this NASDAQ pattern. Got that one nail and bail earlier. Hoping for a do not come back sort of trade today, but if it doesn't present, then it doesn't present. We might be looking at maybe like a Friday, Monday, Tuesday, or like a Thursday, Friday, Monday sort of template, depending on how today closes. We'll have to see. No cash Friday. Minimal cash Friday. Okay, new hours coming in. Gold double zeros. Oh boy, here we go. Yep. That trailer drove by. They have to defend the property. Gotta keep those people from driving by. I'm referring to the dogs, by the way. Not sure that could be taken the wrong way. This is actually pretty common for NFP Fridays, where they've built these ranges like this and then they just sit inside of them for the entire morning session. Not always, but it is very common. Really good way to get chopped up is to try to trade every single bar. So what I'm really just waiting for is something to show commitment, and then using candle timing. If we're going to expand a range for multiple expansions, if they break out and they start expanding in a direction outside of one of these ranges, or if it shows commitment through a really solid pattern at the high of the day, the low of the day, or whatever, I'd be willing to act on that. But if we're just going to sit consolidated inside of this one 5-minute bar range for the entire morning session so that they can chop up people trying to catch the direction, no. You're not going to get me. Yeah, I have a quarter mile. Yeah, about a quarter mile driveway, so they never see the postman. But when other people drive by, which is far and few between, but sometimes there's, I don't know, construction or something going on. Nothing has my interest right now. There's going to need to be a condition change or a change in market condition for me to be willing to execute anything. We're kind of just pitter-pattering. Everything is just pitter-pattering, and we haven't moved. Up, down, left, right, center, nothing has moved. I need to see some kind of commitment because I'm not going to get chopped up in these consolidations on a Friday. I've had a pretty decent week. No reason to give it all back or give any of it back. Notice how gold slammed it back down. Slammed it back down, not letting people out. They started ascending closes, down close bars, creating that higher low. And now maybe going back for the high. Again, market only does three things: breakout, pullback, trend, breakout, reverse, or stay in a trading range. We've broken out a previous day's high, which is why I was concerned down here about taking this trade. Now, it could have followed through. I've seen this exact pattern follow through and just capitulate aggressively back down towards closing price in the low of the day. But when that doesn't happen, you're going to get kind of exactly what we're seeing right now. And the market has been going up for the past 3 days. So technically on the week or whatever, it has been trending higher. And the only reason I was looking for the short is because the past couple weeks have been breakout weeks to the downside. So I was looking for a high week opportunity if it were to present. But we pulled all the way back up in the previous week's range. Instead of just kind of retesting, I mean, we're way back up there. So I kind of have lower expectations, I suppose. But okay, that 5-minute bar just closed lower in the previous. Still just trailing us down lower and lower. Gold, NQ, decent push down. All right, closing price. This new 5-minute bar just opened. It's a little bit late to be climbing into this, I think, but we're at the low of the day. Ooh, US 30. I wouldn't mind seeing how this 5-minute bar closes as well. All right, so I've taken this, I'm giving it a shot. I've taken the NQ at 10:04. You can see a little 1, 2, 3 up. And then the engulfment back down, 10:04. So I'm expecting for this to push through closing price and start capitulating at this point. It should start capitulating at this point. If there's no capitulation now and they're just continuing to work down into the low, wrong trade, wrong day. No bueno. I'm at the low of the day as well, which that's concerning. But if we've got volume trapped above, oh, that's not closing price as I was. That was previous month's high. All right, that's fine. I'm still good with that. Same idea, same concept. That's what I get for putting that purple line there. Yeah, it's not closing price. I had a purple line on there. Usually the purple line means close. Lost my mind one day at a time. All right, 2 minutes left on this 5-minute bar. I don't want to see any pen. It needs to just follow through at this point. This 5-minute bar needs to close strongly to the downside. This is going to confirm to me that this is a decent trade. Like I said, I took the 10:04 down close bar off the 3-push pattern and the new 5-minute bar about to start. Coiling under the EMA in a down moving market. Was looking for this blow off move that we've already got a decent amount of. What time is it? 10:09. Okay, I am going to take partials here, and we're going to let the rest of this go. I think. Let's see here. That's that 10:04 bar. Yeah, that's not bad. Okay, that's a good close. I just took over 100, was it 100 pips out of this? If I'm not mistaken. Well, just about 90. I've got one full expansion up there. We click into that, I'm just going to close. It's a new 5-minute bar. Not a new 15-minute bar, but a new 5-minute bar. This 15-minute bar, I mean, that's a decent down push, but 4 minutes left. You already know. They could very easily just engulf back up to the upside, and this would turn into a huge pin in the next 4 minutes. So I would prefer if we don't start going back up at all. There should be no pullback at this point because of the timing of the 15-minute bar. That would mean that they're pinning on the 15-minute bar instead of actually following through. We had a couple ticks to go. Nah, I'm closing. Yeehaw. That was, that's all I need. We're good. Beautiful week. Beautiful. That's why patience. You know, I started with that idea. Number one, the larger template of the day. First red day. We're in breakout mode to the downside, making lower lows and lower highs. In a down moving market. I had put this trend line on there earlier today. Not that I use trend lines to trade, but it just dictates, it tells me that the market is making lower lows and lower highs, and I need to respect that. This is a trend trade. That's all it is. It's just a trend trade. The news was the initial capitulation, and I did not like how this 3 peaks pattern had presented, and I really didn't like this. This was incredibly annoying to sit here and watch. Because as these 5-minute bars started making lower lows and lower highs, that's great, but I want it when it's about to capitulate. I don't want to have to sit through, you know, the normal market stupidity, the wick up, wick down, wick up, wick down. I don't want to have to deal with that. You know, you can't really get size on that. You can't do much with it. So what I did was I just waited for any of you that have listened to me talk about channels and things like that. The best time to look for the capitulation is right after the false move, the failed breakout. So this is like the attempt to go back out of the channel, get everybody to start going long. Little 1, 2, sideways 3. This bar closed lower than the previous 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Previous 7 bars, making that a decent entry bar on the 1-minute chart. Yeah, that's it. That's really all there was to it. And then looking for the expansions of that range. I didn't use the full high. I just used the failed break of the second peak. So peak 1, peak 2, failed break of the third peak. It gives me a real conservative target. I can't be mad with that. I closed on this bar right there. Nice little 130 pips on a Friday. Not bad. How'd you all do? Martin, you have a good day. Who caught more than 50 today? More than 50 pips. Who caught more than 25? 5% on GU? Nice. Holy cow, 150 on oil. Nice. $25, respectable. More than 100. Nice. I got that gold short earlier in the session, which didn't follow through. And then eventually this NASDAQ trade. Really good week. Really good week. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I was going to trade till 11 today, but, well, the setups came, the setups went, the trades occurred. What is today? The 2nd? Good stuff. Next week. All next week. YouTube live streams. Going to be doing it Monday through Friday. Really enjoyed the stream. Appreciate y'all, conversing, chit-chatting. Always enjoyed, doing these things. And I know I say that enough. It's probably kind of annoying, but hope you all had a good time. Why did I close the trade? One full expansion of the range. I took one full expansion of the range. Of the consolidation. This low and this high. Measured move. You have a great weekend. You have a great rest of your day. Hope you all get to get out and enjoy the weather if the weather is good for you. Maybe get out and do some fishing or whatever. But I'll see you all on Monday, same time. Monday, I'll come back at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. ready to trade. We'll get this analysis done, and we'll be looking for setups again. I'll see you all then. Bye-bye.